Welcome to the Dr. Akash Show. My name is Dr. Akash and the reason I wanted to start this show and start this platform is so we can take all of the information that we have today available to us in the anti-aging space, in the longevity space, in the men's health optimization space, in the information we have and the knowledge we possess about inflammation, distill all of it down to just the practical components, remove all the BS, and give you simple, clear tools on things that you can do that are both practical and inexpensive to allow you to completely optimize your life and optimize the person that you are. So a little bit about me. I'm triple board certified in anesthesiology, pain management, and anti-aging medicine. My journey began in San Diego, where I completed my university training, and then I went to New York for medical school. While in New York City, I was a first responder to the 9/11 events, and this prompted me to move back to the West Coast to be closer to family. So I ended up doing my anesthesiology residency at Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Los Angeles, followed by a pain management fellowship, which is basically further training at UC San Francisco in Northern California. At the conclusion of my training, I started a private practice in Los Angeles, focusing on interventional pain management. And these days, we really focus on regenerative therapies. Things we'll talk about more in this platform, things like PRP, stem cells, and things of that nature. So the reason I wanted to create this platform today is I want to really dissect all of the information available to us and give you the no-nonsense truth. So today we're really working in a system. The system we're working with today, which I call Medicine 2.0, is really based on having an end goal of survival. The system was created so we could survive in a time when disease was rampant, right? But unfortunately, the system doesn't work in today's society. Ultimately, the way the system works is more of a reactive mechanism. So the analogy I like to use is, let's say your body and your health and your overall well-being is a Ferrari. You're given a Ferrari and you're given the keys to that Ferrari and you're told, okay, best of luck, go figure out how to drive this car and how to figure this out. You're not told to rotate the tires. You're not told to change the oil. You're not told to wash the car on a regular basis. You're not told to check the fluids. You're not told any of that. So you basically put the keys in the ignition and you accelerate the car and you're driving it as fast as you possibly can at all places until it starts to break down. So maybe you lose a wheel, you replace the wheel, you figure it out. Next thing you know, multiple pieces of the car are falling apart, and now you're going to your mechanic saying, please help me put this back together again. This is exactly what Medicine 2.0 is, right? If you think about it in your own life, you may have a symptom that may creep up. Maybe you're not sleeping well, maybe you're having headaches, maybe you're having sudden pain or weight loss, and you're not really looking into it because, hey, it'll go away, or I'm just going to ignore it or brush it under the rug, or hey, perhaps, maybe I'll call a doctor about that, or, if you end up calling a doctor at all, because most of us will go to the internet and attempt to self-diagnose to save a few bucks, right? And then what happens is the problem will just compound as you begin to ignore it, and then you begin to try to self-medicate or self-treat based on information you may have found on the internet, and then you just begin to ignore it. Then the problem may just get worse and worse to the point where then you go to the doctor and you say, hey doc, I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z, and you're hoping and praying at that point that the medical system and the doctor can provide some sort of magic bullet, magic injection, magic pill, magic surgery to help all this go away, right? And God forbid you actually get that. God forbid you actually get a pill that decreases your symptoms. Now what's going to happen is you're no longer going to experience consequences of your actions. Ultimately, this is the crux of one of our biggest issues in the medical system today. If you're not experiencing direct consequences of your actions, there's a very low likelihood you're going to seek out care to do anything different, right? If you're eating poorly or you're sleeping poorly, your body is extremely resilient. It can tolerate this kind of abuse and misuse for years until ultimately it will just collapse and give out. And at that point, it's frankly probably too late. So let's say you get that pill, your symptoms go away, you're going to continue these bad habits until something more catastrophic occurs, and then it's very problematic. And this is reactive medicine. This is Medicine 2.0. This is the current healthcare system. Think about your own experiences with you or your family members. Once you become symptomatic, then you go to a doctor to treat the symptoms, and then you move on with your life, right? Let's not forget the practical component that this whole process is extremely expensive. If you get any healthcare, the cost of good healthcare, or frankly, the cost of any healthcare these days is extremely expensive. And it's expensive for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons is you probably need more treatments than you would have needed if you were optimized and taking better care of yourself years ago. And you see this in your everyday life, and you see this around you all the time. We all do. Obesity is a massive, massive problem in our country. It's greater than it's ever been before. It's only getting worse. Childhood obesity is becoming very common, and this is setting our society up for a massive failure and a massive implosion. And the problem too is mindset, right? Nobody really focuses on your mindset when it comes to your physical health. They are very, very closely intertwined. If your mindset isn't in a way to help promote your physical health, then anything, any tool you're given, any plan you start, any diet you begin is not going to work because your mindset isn't in the right place. Now, what do I mean by mindset? Well, let me give you a small example. Let's say you are in the habit of kind of like, eating poorly. You're not really watching what you eat. You're just kind of eating what you think is healthy, right? So let's say you eat something that you think is healthy, but it actually isn't. Say it's a burrito, but it's a low calorie burrito, or a protein burrito, but it's a burrito, okay? So now let's say you eat that feeling like you're eating healthy. You start to have the negative effects of any sort of negative nutritional components in that food, right? Now you may feel a little tired. Maybe you go home. It's so easy to sit on that couch and just melt away because the day was long and stressful and you're exhausted. So now maybe you skip the workout. Now you skip the workout. Now you're staying up late because you want to catch up on that series that you've been wanting to watch. Next thing you know, your sleep is completely off. You've only gotten 4 to 5 hours because you were up watching TV. And then you wake up the next day. Guess what? You probably don't feel great. And then you rinse and repeat. If this is the way you're living, which most people are, frankly, you're living in a pattern of constantly catching up. Your body and your physiology is constantly trying to catch up to find some time where it can recover and it can restore itself and it can kind of rebuild and just do internal housekeeping, but you're not giving it the time and space and resources to do so. This is exactly the pattern that you can get into until the system just completely falls apart. The system meaning you, your body, but not just physically, mentally as well. Mental health is something we're also going to focus on. Incredibly important here, probably the captain of the ship when looking at the entire picture as a whole. The other problem with Medicine 2.0, it was built to fight disease. It was built to react to disease once disease became symptomatic, right? Like we've discussed. But the problem in today's world is not disease. The problem for most of us isn't, hey, just trying to survive, just trying to get over that viral infection or that localized infectious issue or whatever the case may be. The problem is the opposite. In our society today, we live in a crisis of abundance. We have too many options, guys. It's easy to get bad food that tastes amazing, that's quickly obtainable, quick to consume. You feel good because you feel like you've eaten something, so you get a little bit of that full satiety feeling, and then you move on with your day. It's ironic that the foods that are the cheapest quality, the lowest ingredients, the tastiest, are also the least expensive. It's almost as if things are set up in a way to force the average consumer to gravitate towards these items rather than the more expensive items, which are composed of cleaner, more simple, real ingredients and are better for you. But listen, it's nobody's fault. It is what it is. It's the society we live in. But if we don't become mindful of this now, and we don't start redirecting our ship, if we don't start redirecting our Titanic towards safer waters, you're going to hit the iceberg. And when you hit the iceberg, it's going to be too late. You're going to drown. And that's the point of this show, is to make sure we do things today while you're still feeling good today to take you at the state you're at now and maintain that state, if not completely optimize it and improve it. Because any small change today is going to compound over years of your life. So think about yourself 5 to 10 years down the road and where you want to be at that point and how your life today reflects that. And listen, don't just think about yourself in this scenario. Think about your significant other. Think about your children if you have it. Don't you want to be around in peak physical health so you can live a high quality life physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, so you can bring that version of yourself into your child's presence, into your significant other's presence? Isn't that really the way that you want to live? Of course it is. But just keep in mind, the biggest obstacle we're all going to encounter is consequences. And the lack of consequences today with your actions is going to make it that much more difficult to steer the ship where you need it to go. So the way we're going to break all this down in the show is we're going to look at a few different things. The first thing being routines and rituals. We're going to discuss routines and rituals that are basically very inexpensive or free, practical, easy to do, and require little to no equipment or stuff. Things that you can put into play immediately after every episode, that you can do daily, small little things that again will compound over the course of your life. We're also going to look at resilience. Now, resilience basically means your ability to withstand difficult situations. This could be physically, this could be mentally, this could be emotionally, this could be all of the above. This is all of the above. We're going to look at what we can do to create you becoming a more resilient version of yourself. And then finally, we're going to look at ways to make you robust. Now, robust basically means, for our purposes, you'd be creating the most powerful version of yourself. So in order to become the most powerful version of yourself, you have to optimize. And what does that mean? We have to take all of the subjective things we're going to talk about, the mindset components, the rituals, the routines, and we have to also look at the objective stuff. We're going to discuss certain hormones. We're going to discuss certain lab values that you need to take a look at. We're going to discuss how you can put into place certain ways to objectively measure your progress. So not only are we going to look at improving your mindset, but we're also going to look at objectively improving physical measurements so you can take the entire picture together and become completely optimized. So this Medicine 3.0, looking at routines and rituals to make you resilient and robust, understanding we're facing a crisis of abundance and we're working away from a reactive medical system to creating our own proactive medical system to making you optimized, is ultimately what this show is all about. Guys, please like, subscribe, and share this. If you've listened this far, I really appreciate it. This is the first episode, brand new podcast. I'm very excited about it. So please like and subscribe and share. This will teach the algorithms to show this to more like-minded people like us. Thank you for watching this far. And remember, the best time to do something was yesterday. The second best time is today. Don't look back tomorrow with regret. Take one small step today to make yourself unbreakable. I'll see you on the next episode.